Hello, 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 and welcome back to Small Biz Better Summit. We are so happy to have you all here with us today, and it has been a jam-packed day, full of great speakers, full of great information, full of so many great mindset shifts, full of so many great live Q&As, and here another amazing live Q&A with myself and the amazing Mr. Coach Derek Butts. How are you doing, sir?
And I'm doing great. Thank you again for having me. Sounds like it's been a power-packed day. I know it's been fun and filled, so here we go.
I love it, man. Yeah, it's been a great day. A lot of fun, a lot of great questions that have been coming in, a lot of great participation that has been coming in. So, yeah, this has been an amazing day. And that's thanks to you. Thanks to you, Derek Butts. Thanks to all of our other speakers. And thanks to you, the audience, for attending, for sending it to your friends, for sending the link to your friends to register. So this is a group effort. So we thank you all for your participation in making this success and for your participation. Throughout this Q&A session, enter your questions in the chat box. You won't be able to see them, but we can see them on our end. So we're moderating the chat, and it keeps down on the clutter from everyone being distracted in the chat, as well as distracting the speakers during the Q&A as well. We will see those questions that you enter, so no need to enter them twice or anything. Once you enter it once, we do see them, and time permitting, we will get to as many as humanly possible. And with that, let's go ahead and jump right on in with our Q&A. And before we jump in our Q&A, Derek and I were chatting at the beginning of kind of in the pregame session of this, where the speakers are kind of like the green room in the back room. You know, we're just chatting and chopping it up. So Derek is extremely busy guy. And today he actually has a book that's launching and coming out. And I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And actually his talk is titled the same as his book. And I think that's absolutely amazing. Wanted you to give a few words about the book that you have launching today. And first of all, big congratulations on it. But tell us a little bit about it. Every Day's a Wednesday.
Yes, sir. So as you said, the title is Make Every Day a Wednesday. And the spelling, of course, is Winsday. It's kind of fitting that today is Wednesday. When we do talk about Wednesday, Winsday. So the book's written with threefold section. The first section is about, everybody's talked about how important a mindset is. And I agree, it is important. But too oftentimes people have their mindset already. So I believe people need a mind shift. So I really go through and talk about how you can purposely and intentionally have a mind shift. Because once you do, that's what allows you to catapult yourself to the next level. The second section is all about the methods to movement. You know, in our generation, everyone wants to be busy, but I really go with the aspect that you can minus to multiply. How is it that I can do less yet accomplish more? Leadership. And then the final section talks about going from maturity to mastery, how we can do the right things from an efficient and an effective standpoint. And once we master it, it's like putting our life on automatic.
Man, that's amazing. Man, that is such a needed book. I'm so glad you're bringing that to the world. And my understanding, they can download it free on Amazon today.
Yes, sir. Yep. Amazon.com, world's famous shopping network where people love to be. And they can download it for free right now there. Just go to Amazon.com, Make Every Day a Wednesday, Winsday. And then they can download the book right there for free on Amazon.
And I'm typing that book title in the chat for you all right now. Derek's book, Make Every Day a Wednesday. There, his new book.
Yeah.
Fresh, hot off the presses.
Hot.
And let me add this, his new best-selling book, because I already know it's been sold out, probably been sold out for a while, and still continuing to get more sales. So this is awesome, man. Make Derek's new book, and that is now in the chat for you guys and gals. All right. So please go to Amazon. Oh, I guess download on Amazon. Download that on Amazon. Amazon.com. Make Every Day a Wednesday. Make Every Day a Wednesday. Wednesday spelled Winsday. Correct?
Yes, sir. You got it.
Winsday. Awesome. So do look out for that. All right. So we have several great questions coming from you all through out the day through some emails, through the pages, the speaking pages. So we'll jump right on into those. And starting off with, well, first of all, let me start off pre-apologizing for me butchering probably a lot of your names, but know that I'm butchering them out of love. So, all right. So up first we have Raul. Raul asks, how do you develop a good sales strategy?
Yeah, so great question, Raul. So developing a good sales strategy, I believe everything starts with the client in mind. I think that if you will put the client in mind and their needs and their desire, that's where it begins. So client focused. Second thing is, in the midst of a strategy, it needs to be something that can be duplicatable. You don't want to ever have a strategy built on somebody's personality, because if a personality can't be duplicated, then all of a sudden it cannot be repeated. And so you have to be able to train to it. We used to always say, especially in the dealership world of training so many sales associates, I have to train to the norm, not to the exception. And so you always want to keep it simple in your training, because you want somebody to be able to duplicate themselves, because that's where process and that's where consistency lies. It lies within something that is duplicatable, not something that some superstar has to run. So again, client focus, something that's duplicatable. And then from there, it just starts to back into the basics, which being, you got to be a people person. You got to know your product, having product knowledge, and then learning how to convey the value, not sell price. Strategy wants to get into selling value, not selling price. Anybody can have something that's cheap and get somebody to do it, but it's when you can showcase the value, the benefits, and the differentiators. When you really think about selling value, you're selling the differentiator. What differentiates you from your competition? What differentiates your product from its competition? And when you're able to do that, that's when you start to win in sales.
Love that. Amazing stuff. Y'all can see why we have Coach Derek Butts here with us today, dropping the nuggets on sales. Man, that's awesome. I was just being a little envious there. I was like, man, this is some good stuff. I can't type notes. I got to moderate, go back and forth with the questions, but good stuff. So I will definitely be watching this replay so I can take some notes. Awesome sauce. All right. Up next, this question comes from Anonymous. I had a slip. I thought in our last live interview, we had a question from Anonymous, and I was trying to pronounce it like a name. It's like, oh, we didn't have a name for them. It's Anonymous. So yeah, I laugh at myself a lot, everybody. So this question comes from Anonymous. No problem. If we can, we prefer to have your name so we can acknowledge you when we're asking your question. But if not, no problem. Sometimes we get the questions on the email or the name just gets lost. So Anonymous asks, can you explain the sentiment analysis again? Can you explain this sentiment analysis again? And thank you, Anonymous. What we were talking about with the sentiment analysis earlier today was we were talking about the biggest trends of 2020 as it relates to digital marketing. And there's a lot of great things on the forefront of digital marketing that you really want to be you really want to be present to, because these trends are going to be growing and going to be really prevalent. One of the things we talked about was sentiment analysis. And what sentiment analysis is, in your Facebook lives or even in your Facebook comments, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, not only now can you like, and for the last, several years, maybe last 2 years or 18 months or something like that, 3 years, not only can you like, but you can give it a happy face, you can give it a frowny face, thumbs down, you can do all sorts of reactions to these posts and to these lives. So sentiment analysis is Facebook, all these social media platforms, they're not only just interested in engaging, they're not only interested in the engagement that your audience is giving you with the content, but they're actually analyzing the sentiments, those reactions, so to speak, how many reactions you get, what reactions you get, when you get them. They're compiling all that data and just adding all that data together and just seeing what can we surmise? What actionable insights can we get from this data? And so Facebook, all these great platforms that you see are really just data mine houses, data warehouses. All we do is just collect data. Every single thing you're doing on Facebook, we're collecting that data just to see how can we make Facebook better for you. Same thing with your digital marketing campaigns. We're analyzing everything that your customers are doing on your website, your social media, all those things, so that we can better understand your customer. Sentiment analysis is just another component of that. So it's beyond the likes, it's beyond just the comments, and it's just beyond the kind of surface level. Somebody gave this a smiley face, somebody gave this a frowny face, somebody gave this a whatever reaction. But when are they giving those reactions during the post, during the talk, if it's a live post, for example, and what, if any, valuable insights can we get from that? And think about this, Facebook has 2.1 billion with a B users. So when we aggregate all that data across the 2.1 billion users, we really get a lot of great actionable insights. And you can be rest assured a lot of that's probably going to be incorporated into the algorithm that Facebook uses to show you what we show you when we show it to you. Right. So that's what we were talking about sentiment analysis. It's they're now going to be paying a lot more attention going into 2020 about what type of reaction you're giving when, and what type of reaction your engagement and your engaging posts and your engaging videos or engaged live videos are getting.
Love it.
Awesome.
Great information. Thank you, sir. I gave you some sentiments inside of our moderation chat while you were talking.
Oh, yeah. And I didn't catch any yet. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks, bro. All right. Excellent. And we have a quick note from, let's say, Diane says she cannot hear. Diane, if you can type in the chat box, if you can hear us now. Just want to make sure that we are able to address. Okay, we got some others commenting that they can hear. Diane, if you can't hear us, I guess if you can't hear us, me talking to you would not help, would it? All right. So, okay, great. Let's see. Okay, Diane says she can now hear us. Great. Thank you, Diane. We're so happy to have you. And anyone else, if you're having any issues, please go ahead and let us know in the chat, and the moderation will make sure to address as many of those as humanly possible. So thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. Up next, we have from Jeannie. Yes, Jeannie. My apologies. Jeannie says, if our sales are lacking, how do we improve your sales?
So it's a great question. It's a question that kind of vague. So I'm going to just maybe touch on a few aspects of what I would come in and look at from if our sales are lacking. So the first place I'd always touch in is I believe in execution. And the way I define execution is twofold. Number one, the effort that I see going out. What effort level am I getting and giving? That's the first place I'm going to see. Sometimes our sales are lacking because of an effort issue. Now, my first general manager in the car business, when I first transferred from being a school teacher he used to always make this statement. He said, Derek, don't forget, the car business is about results. It's not an efforts contest. Yet, it takes effort to get results. So it's a twofold street that we have to remember, that we are in a results-oriented industry when we're in sales. The bottom line is when somebody says yes, and it takes effort in order for us to get our yeses. So the first place I'm going to ask is check the effort level, not the yes level. Too oftentimes, people can yes us to the place that we stop leading them or managing them or inspecting. So when you're checking effort, you're inspecting what you expect, not only from a knowledge standpoint, but from a doing standpoint. So what I used to do is I ran a program that I would call 2x2 with my sales associates. Because anytime I didn't see appointments that we were having in the dealership, I would then do a 2x2 with them. That's where I would sit with them. I would make 2 calls. They would make 2 calls. So here's what I would check at that point. I'm now seeing the process that we have in place. Have they deviated from the process? Because when there's lack of results, it's a breakdown in process. Lack of results generally fall back to a breakdown in process. So I need to find out, where did we break down? So the 2x2 would show me what level of call are they making. Have they decided to run their own scripts? Have they decided to get their dealer license, as we would call it, where they were so smart and so wise that they know all the things now and they decide to deviate from the process? So when sales are lacking, efforts first. Second place is evidence. There should be evidence of my execution. That means that there should be paper trail, my follow-up game, my emails back to my customer. You know, if you really look at sales stats, the fortune has always been said it's in the follow-up, yet we still avoid follow-up. We don't like to do the non-sexy area of sales, but we want the outcome of sales. Big commissions, more checks, more this, but we don't want to do the things that it takes. So when you're seeing sales start to lack, just start to go backwards from the place and you will find where the breakdown is.
I love that. Expert advice. I hope you all are collecting these gold nuggets from all of our speakers and from Mr. Derek Butts, because I mentioned it a second ago, I'm envious. I wish I was able to actually take notes right now, but I'm moderating and doing all these other things. But you can be rest assured, I will be watching the replay for the purpose of taking notes on the knowledge and the gold nuggets that he is dropping in this session. So thank you so much. And thank you, Janine, for that question. I apologize, Jeannie, for that question. There's no double N in here. So it's, I believe it's pronounced Jeannie. And English is not my first language. My first language is Southern, everyone. So that's hopefully that works as an excuse. I don't know. No, not really. I get some LOLs and some no, that doesn't work. That doesn't count. No problem. All right, this question comes from Kristan, if I pronounce that right, Kristan. So Kristan asks, if it takes money to make money and I don't have money, how do I get started?
I love it. I love it. So I teach and talk about the 3 levels of ROI. So we've all been told ROI is the return on investment. But before I have a return on investment, I need to have the first 2 levels of ROI come into play. So the first version of ROI I talk about is the return on your idea. So it doesn't take money to have an idea. If I have a good enough idea and I develop that idea in the 3 P's I'm going to give you, and that is a pen, a pad, and a plan, you can put an idea down on paper that will attract the second level of ROI, which is the return on influence. When I don't have money, I can have an idea. When my idea is communicated effectively, then what can happen is the person of influence will come next to me and they will become my investor, and my investor has the money, and now I can get to having a return on the investment. So I believe that you can do it. You just have to reverse engineer, and you have to go back to the place of your idea. And so this is why, you know, places like a Susie Carter that just got off of the chat, Lisa Nichols, a Marcus, being able to, those kind of people see ideas all the time. So people like Shark Tank, the reason why it exists is they're looking for somebody's idea in order to, spend their money with that idea. That's all they're looking for. So they put up their money to attract ideas to them in order for them to say, let's make more money off of somebody's great idea. So ideas have always attracted influence and investors.
I love that. And I love that 3 layers of ROI. I'm gonna have to steal that from you, man. That is beautiful, man. 3 levels of ROI. And then you said the 3 P's. You said you get a pen and a pad and a plan. I'm like, gold nuggets. I literally almost switched over just to start typing notes, and I'm like, oh, gotta do it. I'm on the job. Oh, that's excellent, man. Awesome. And this question comes from our good friend Anonymous. Hi, Anonymous. So this question, Anonymous, is asking about vlogging that we talked about earlier today. Blogging, how do you recommend we get started with blogging if we want to monetize it? Great question. And so with our top trends for top digital marketing trends for 2020. We talked about several items, one of which was blogging is going to make a much stronger comeback. Is making comeback and is going to be even more prevalent in 2020 as well. And blogging, if you're not familiar, blogging is you might be familiar with blogging with a B. Blogging with a V is where you're doing what you would be doing, what you would be typing. You're doing it in video capture. So you're capturing video of your experiences, capturing video of your content. That's blogging, and you're having it in a succinct place where people can access all of this great information in a single place. That's what blogging is. That could be on your website. It could be on your social media channel. It could be on your Instagram page. It can be a whole bunch of different places, right? And so how do you get started with blogging in order to monetize it? Well, the first step is to make sure you get started with blogging in general. We had a couple of sessions earlier today. I mentioned it, and also Sean Smith mentioned it as well when we're talking about being on video. And so many people are caught up on trying to be perfect when they're on video. But I love the phrase he said: we lose connection when we try to be in perfection on video. Our connection on video actually is in the imperfection. A lot of times it's hard to connect with people that are quote unquote perfect. And in fact, in today's day and age, we often get suspicious of people that we see as being perfect on social media or on TV and things of that sort. So being yourself, being your own authentic self and bringing that to the table is going to get you a lot more, going to attract a lot more of the people who align with you, align with your values, align with your mission, align with your energies. That's going to attract more people than you trying to be a copycat of someone else, or you trying to be a version of what you think you should be, or what you think you're supposed to be on social media, or what you're supposed to be when you're doing a video. That's number one. You might have saw early today when Derek and I were just chatting back and forth, or even in the last session when Susie and we were literally dancing on camera. It was the pregame and we were dancing around on camera. That's just us bringing our natural quirkiness to and putting it on display, being vulnerable, right? And a lot of people don't do that, or they're scared to do that. But that's really when people relate to you. A lot of your comments were, "Oh my goodness, y'all, looks like y'all are having so much fun," or "I love it." A lot of these different comments were coming in because you felt us. You just felt our energy, and you felt real people being real. So with blogging, that's what you want to do. You want to be a real person being real on your blogging. So that doesn't mean you have to have a production crew. You don't have to have the best software. You don't have to have a fancy camera. Your camera could just be starting out. It could be your phones. These phones take amazing. A lot of the smartphones today take amazing video, amazing pictures on the Samsung. I am Team Samsung. On the Team Samsung and iPhone, I guess iPhone's okay. But they take amazing pictures and amazing photos and amazing videos. So you can get started with that right now. And as far as content goes, start with what you're passionate about. Niche marketing and niche areas is really taking off. I mentioned in our session earlier today about how I was fumbling around on Facebook, or I'll start this conversation back a little further. I mentioned earlier how when I was a kid, Mars had the beautiful invention of cookies and cream Twix. Truly a dream. And for some reason, some genius at Mars decided to discontinue that cookies and cream Twix. A couple of years ago, I was just fumbling around on Facebook and I got the urge for some cookies and cream Twix. And I was on Facebook and looked for cookies and cream Twix. And lo and behold, there was a whole group, a whole community called Bring Back Cookies and Cream Twix. So what did I do? I immediately joined that group, and we literally for years have just been talking about, random stuff. But what brought us together was cookies and cream Twix. A month ago, like right before Thanksgiving or so, somebody announces in the group, "Hey, Mars has brought back cookies and cream Twix." And we were like, "OMG." And, this big celebration, and people were talking about, how we can get it and how we can access it, how you can order it, all these great things. Little caveat, the one that they brought back is nothing like the original. But at least we came together over a common cause. So I tell you the story because no matter what your niche is, no matter what you're looking for, no matter what you're interested in, there is a group of people out there who are also interested in it as well. And these niche categories are what we're going to see taking a stronger hold in 2020. And by you blogging in whatever your niche area is, whatever your niche interest is. By you blogging on a regular basis, whatever that niche is, you're going to attract those people who are naturally attracted to that cause, to that common cause, to the common cause of cookies and cream Twix. There were literally hundreds of us in that group. Bring back cookies and cream Twix, right? And so a lot of times we'll look at vanity numbers of, hey, I only have 20 people in my group. And you're thinking like, oh, I got to have 2,000 or I got to have 20,000. But don't pay attention, one, to the vanity numbers. Actually, Instagram is going to be removing the likes from, so that we can't see how many people like our friends' posts and our friends' videos and such. They're already doing it in some markets. They're going to be rolling it out worldwide in 2020. But a lot of people get hung up on the likes and how many likes they have. But focus on the impact. So if there was a car accident in your town and 20 people were hurt or injured, it'd be all over the news in your town, right? So if your group only has 20 people, celebrate. That's 20 people that y'all have come together over a common goal, a common dream, a common cause, right? That's something to be celebrated for. So blogging, you're going to start small. You're going to start amateuristic, but start. And that's really the important part to starting to get to monetization. Monetization is going to come if you start and if you are authentic in starting your blog. If you start with the intention of just, hey, I want to make a difference in this niche, I want to bring awareness in this niche, or whatever your why is, your core why. Not why is I want to make money. Making money is a result. What is your why? Why is the world a different place because of this niche that you're focusing on, because of the information that you're bringing? Focus on that. And focus on that intention, the money comes, and the money will come in leaps and bounds. And on top of that, we're doing a lot more free webinars, free seminars on how to monetize your social media presence, how to monetize your digital presence in general. So now that you're in these sessions as part of the Small Biz Better Summit, you'll also be getting those emails on those weekly webinars that we have as well that are also free as well. So this is part of our give back. So very long answer to your question, vlogging, but I hope that answers some key components about vlogging. In summary, start now. Be authentic, start now. If you weren't embarrassed of, if you don't look back a while from now and you're not embarrassed of that first iteration, you waited too long to launch, is our whole thing. Start now. It's going to improve over time. Just start. Just start, no matter where you are. So thank you for that question. Oh, anonymous. All right, so thank you for that question. Up next, question is from Jermaine. And pretty long question. Let's see if I can sum it up a little bit. Okay. So the stuff changes daily. Good information you guys are sharing. How do you keep up with all these marketing and sales changes? How do you keep up with all the sales and marketing changes and all the updates in sales and marketing? So yeah, I believe Derek was just mentioning one of your how you go about training your personnel and how you train to the norm and not the exception. So how do you keep up, Derek, with all these changes in sales, all these new best practices, I guess, so to speak, in sales?
You know, it's like anything else. If you're in it every day, there are those certain sites that you have. It's just like if you're in sports, you look at ESPN, you got the tickler on, you got the dings on. So you're always watching where the trends are and who's hot, who's not. And one of the things that I always say concerning it is that you want to make sure that you're not following who was hot, that you're following who is hot. So I'm always seeing, and the way I do it is I study not the top 1 through 50. I like to look at the 51 through 100 list. And the reason why I like to focus there is because they have desire and hunger to get to that next level. So they're pushing the envelope, they're pressing the gas, and they're looking at the innovative and creative things to do in order to bust the limits to get to the next level. The people that already are there sometimes are resting on their laurels, or they're using their money to just maintain their place. They're not always being cutting edge and innovative because they have a lot to lose if what they pick is wrong. But the person that's trying to get to that next place, they've been busting the seams, they've been breaking levels, they've been breaking records, and they're so hungry to finally get there. That's normally the group of people you keep your eye on. So you got to know who to look to. You got to look who to look for. I caught the tail end of Susie's Summit. Yes, you don't want to copy, but yes, you want to look for principles to extract. If you can find the principle to extract and then to find a way to put it into your niche. I've seen too many times people take the lingo of their lane and they try to take the principle that somebody else does and they don't know how to convert it. You know, there's something that we use as a term that's called code switch. You have to be able to code switch and to know how to speak to the audience that you have, but take the verbiage that you can understand and bring it to your audience. But you got to bring it to that they can understand it and they can get it. It's like for me, I can take all the complex stuff and my whole goal is to make it simplistic. I don't want to confuse people with big words and thesaurus type feel where you got to be Googling and have a dictionary next to me. I want people to catch it as if I'm speaking to a fourth grader because I'm all about application. I'm not about impressing people. I'm about impacting people. So that's what I would tell that person. You got to know who's hot, stay around who's hot, because who's hot is going to continue to give you the latest and greatest, the cutting edge things.
Awesome sauce. Awesome stuff. I love that, Derek, man. I love the knowledge you're dropping, man. Jermaine, you asked two parts of that question, and it looks like both from the sales and the marketing perspective. I echo what Coach Derek Butt says, and also only thing I would say with it is that you're doing it now as well. Right now you are doing it. So you're asking, how do you keep up to date? You're doing it right now. You're attending a summit. You're investing your time. So many people, of course, the financial cost of the summit is free, but it still costs you time. Your time is more valuable than your money, right? And so right now you're already investing your time into growing, learning about these updates, learning from people who spend their lives doing these things. Derek has been in sales most of his life, and he's an expert in sales. People hire him to coach them on sales. Businesses hire him to coach them on sales. Right? We've been in marketing. Businesses and people hire us to coach and do their marketing, for example, and we live, breathe, eat this stuff, right? And you are now doing that. You're doing that in the summit. You're doing that in the webinars. You're doing that. I'm guessing if you're in this summit, you've been a part of other summits. You've been a part of other conferences. So keep in that same mindset. Keep going to these summits. Keep attending to the summits. We're going to have several summits coming up in 2020. We have several webinars coming up. Keep coming back, and many of them are free just because this is part of our give back, right? And so keep coming to these events because you're going to learn, and not only come to them, participate. And so ask your questions. You're doing it. You had a deeper question than what was addressed on one or both of our sessions, and you asked the question, hey, how can I get more of this? How can I learn more? Following authors like Derek Butts, his book out today, right? Make every day a Wednesday. And I love that. Cop the free copy of that book today, another free resource, right? So cop these things, invest your time and energy into these things, as well as don't stray away from investing your finance and things as well. I think, I forget who says it, Ben Franklin, take the pennies from your pocket, invest them in your mind, and your mind will grow over time. I think that's such a profound, I know I'm mixing it up there. Actually, I think I made it rhyme, which I actually like, but yeah, ask the marketer, right? But that's so important, right? Invest those pennies from your pocket, put them in your mind, and your mind will produce over time and will produce overflowing over time. That's so important and so impactful. So continue to invest your time, energy, and money to grow, to understand what are those areas that I don't know. Awesome question. This question comes from, this is another question from Raul, actually. Raul asks, when you're starting your sale, what is the number? I'm not sure. So if I'm Raul, if you're here in the chat, let me know if I'm decoding this properly. What seems like you're asking is what are the biggest lessons you've learned being a master salesman? What is it that you wish you would have known before you became a master salesman?
So great question. I wish I would have got into it sooner. I actually wish I would have got into it sooner. So sales is, if you're a people person and you allow your personality to mix into your process, then you're on your way. And the reason why I love sales and the reason why I say that is because when you look in the mirror every single day, you get to determine what your worth is versus just going and clocking in for a paycheck based on time. And so it gives you the ability to impact today my income. If I'm cold in my home, I don't wait till the end of the month to turn the thermostat on a different temperature. I go change it right now. That's what sales is. Sales is one of those that you can go change whatever it is today. It's the only industry that you can be broke one day and rich the next because you have the ability to sell. So for me, I wish I would have got into it earlier. It's just because I enjoy people. And again, if you're around me and you hang out with me, you read some of my books, you're going to find out that my heart is in it for the people. And that's why I like selling. I used to always say that it wasn't the product that was the most important thing to me. So, I sold Fords for a while and I sold Chevrolets. I've been at some luxury stores, but really it's not the end because most people make a quality product, but it's the person. It's them smiling because now we're able to take them from what they desire and they're actually able to go home with it. And that whole process of that happening, I just enjoy it all, right? So for me, I would say, I wish I got into it earlier. That would be my answer to that question.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Start earlier. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And okay, so we see your commentary. Great comments coming in. Good stuff. People are saying they like your pen pad, the three pins, the three P's, a pen, a pad, and a plan. Actually, let me highlight one of these comments that I see and put that in the chat box as well. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, everybody's loving it. Everybody's loving the content. Awesome. So, wow, I know this time has flown. Like it's already 45 or 40 minutes after the hour, and we usually try to wrap these up at about 45 after the hour. And this time has just simply flown by like wildfire. So I guess time flies when you are having fun. So Derek, what would you say is your big takeaway? What would you like to leave the live crew that is here with us with, and those watching the replay? What would you like to leave them with for this final Small Biz Better Summit of 2019? I'm already a year ahead.
Well, first off, I want to say thank you to you, Marcus, for putting this on. And I know this is something that you guys do. And thank you for as well as including me this time in this summit. So the thing I would want to challenge people, for those that are listening live, for those that are listening on the replay, if you're catching this before 2019, my challenge to you is to leave in this decade the things that don't matter and to only take with you to the next decade the things that do matter. You're getting ready to wash out. You're not saying Happy New Year this year. You're saying Happy New Decade. We're moving into a brand new decade. So I want to challenge you right now to dominate that decade. You didn't get into business in order for you to fit in. You got into business in order for you to brand. And in order for you to brand, you don't blend. So go ahead and dominate it. Be a disruptor in the space. Be a person that's willing to just stand out in order for somebody to see your sign. I've been challenging my tribe, my people, every time I'm on any type of talk, podcast, any type of feel. I've been challenging them. If you'll put your sign up and not take it down, your people will know where to come. It's just like the airport. The reason why we know which gate to go to is because they have the sign up that says, I'm going to New York. If you'll put your sign up and be bold enough to hold it up, I promise you, people are going to come to your sign because somebody is looking for you. That's why you got in. That's why you said yes. That's why you started, in order for your tribe to find you. So whatever your product is, represent it. Whatever you sell, sell it. Whatever you do, do it with everything within you. And as I stated, dominate this decade.
Man, Derek, I really got to take some notes on this, man. I'm like, oh, another good soundbite, another good soundbite. Man, Derek, you were just amazing and phenomenal, man. Thank you so much for your contribution here today. My only one of the takeaways I would say for everyone is dream big. Dream big. We had a great session. Well, all the sessions have been great today. And in one of the great sessions, one of the speakers was talking about, Sean Smith was talking about dream big. And a lot of times we'll try to figure out the how. And a lot of times figuring out the how will get in the way of the actual dream. But those are two different sections of the brain that are working. You got or you got your heart that's dreaming, and you got your mind trying to direct the dream. And a lot of times they contradict, or a lot of times we'll shun our dreams or shut off our dreams because we can't figure out the how. Dream big, dream outrageous, and dream courageous. Let the dreams flow. I remember, I forget where I was. I think I was in a seminar or as a session, and the gentleman made a reference to the Bible. Now, we're not here to push our beliefs on you or push or anything like that. But I choose to call my divine entity God. And in this seminar, he said, nowhere in the Bible that he's referring to, nowhere in the Bible does it say, you got to have that plan. It just says where people lack vision, people perish. And it didn't say where they have a plan, where they have a step. Not saying ignore the plan, ignore the step. That's important. But it said dream. He said have that vision. So have your vision, especially going to this new decade. Have that vision, dream big, dream outrageous, dream courageous, and continue to partner up with people like Derek. Continue to partner up with people like myself. Continue to partner up with people like Susie, who was just on here, or partner up with people like Sean, who was on here earlier today. Partner up with us. Continue to come to these summits for free and continue to educate yourself. What are some of the trends? What are some things? What are some of the mindset shifts that I need to be thinking about, like in Derek's book, Make Every Day a Wednesday? Continue to enrich yourself and continue to act and implement. Dream big, enrich yourself, and act and implement. That's what I would leave you guys with on the Small Biz Better Summit, this final Small Biz Better Summit of 2019. It has been an amazing, amazing year. And it's so hard to make it come to a close. But as it comes to a close, we're also celebrating 2020. We already have 2020 lined up. We have more summits coming to you in 2020. So we are super excited about that. Continue to bring your questions, continue to bring your engagement, continue to bring everything that you think you might want to know about some of these topics that we're speaking about so that we can address them real time. And so with that, Derek, any final words, my brother?
Happy New Year. Happy new decade. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. And all the other good stuff.
I love it. Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
Yes. Go get a
happy new decade.
Yeah.
Yes. And don't forget, download a free copy of Derek's book today on Amazon.com. Make every day a Wednesday. Make every day a Wednesday. Wednesday is spelled Winsday. Make every day a Wednesday. So make sure you go ahead and download that book for free on Amazon.com today. Let's continue to support him, continue to support good work in the world, and especially talking about those mindset shifts. I'm really glad about that. So with that, we conclude our Small Business Summit for 2019. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for watching the replay. This guy. I love it. Business is fun.
Was dancing, so I had to give my version of my stuff. Since she got to dance with you, I just said, I'm the crowd. The crowd goes wild. Businesses are booming and blowing up. They're going crazy. Oh my gosh, Dec2019. They're heating up.
I love it. I love it. We have fun here, and business should be fun. So continue to surround yourself with supportive environment. Continue to surround yourself with environments like this where you can have fun, get the education that you need, and get the tools that you need to implement and grow your business further, farther, and small business better. That's the whole purpose of the summit. We want people to small business better. Small business isn't just a noun. It's not a passive thing. It's an active action. Small business better. It's something that you have to do and work at every single day in order to be bigger, better, and brighter. And with that, We thank you all so much for joining us. Tune in next year for Small Business Better. We're having another Small Business Better session in January. So January 28th through 30th, another Small Business Better Summit. We hope to see all of you there. If you're here live in the room, that means you're already on the listserv and you will get the notifications for the new summit, but also feel free to share with your friends. We want to help as many people take advantage of this free resource as possible and help everybody's small business better. So thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye, 2019. Hello, 2020. Thank you all.